Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Peter Limberg is the creator of Mobilo Card, a new smart business card that doesn't need to be reprinted every time you change your email address. There are lots of other advantages too, and we had a chat about business cards and the future of networking. Thank you very much for being this week's guest on the podcast, Peter.
Hey Liz, thanks so much for having me.
Now, you're the founder of Mobilo Card, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but first of all, what's your background and how did you get to where you are now?
I have a background in retail. I really picked this up during high school and university. Retail stores, online shopping, really had an interest in it. So that's where I started, and I took over a retail store in the Netherlands. That's where I'm from, and was one of the first to combine online and offline shopping a long time ago. After that, the stores grew, and I was able to sell them off. And I thought it would be great to work at a company that is a little bit more innovative and also actually makes their own products instead of just selling somebody else's boxes. So I joined 3D printing startup Shapeways, which grew out to be one of the largest 3D printing marketplaces and service bureaus. And in that process, I moved to New York. That's where I am still today, and that's mostly my background.
Okay, so tell me a bit about Mobilo Card. What is it, and where did you get the idea from it, and when?
Mobilo is a smart business card. It looks like a business card. It's made of plastic, of wood or metal. You tap it on your phone, and your contact details magically show up on screen. So it's kind of like a wireless chip. You tap it on the phone, your contact details show up, ready to be saved. And this helps save time, save money, but also save a little bit of the environment. Since, for instance, here in America, there are about 27 million business cards printed every single day.
Wow.
And almost 90% ends up in the trash within a week. So,
So when did you get the idea to create this kind of long-lasting business card?
Well, I've never actually been a true fan of business cards, although a long time ago when I got my first business card, it was a little bit of a magic moment. Like you've arrived, right? You see your name, your title, the logo of the company you work for. It's a confirmation of a lot of things. But that magic is long gone now that we're in a digital age, and business cards have become more useless than they are useful. And so when I came back from a trade show a couple of years back, I really had a big stack, and I think it was 90 business cards that I had with me. And it was 11 p.m. and I was back in my hotel room after a long day, and I was staring at those business cards, really thinking, what am I doing with all of these things? And now I have to put them in my computer. Why is there not a good alternative? Why is there nothing that just fixed this? And so that's when we started Mobilo.
Is it unique? Is anyone else doing anything similar to this?
Well, that's definitely not the case. I mean, the first thing I did is I started to do some research and quickly found out that there are so many apps that have been tried to help solve us from this, relieve us from this problem. And all these apps, I think one of the biggest issues with it is that they don't offer that magic. They don't offer that opportunity to really show off your branding and to make that first impression that you really wanted. So there's nothing really cool about, Liz, when I would meet you and say, hey, let me pop up open an app and then fill out your details. That disturbs the conversation. So. So I started looking for something else, and I had done previously research on RFID, and so I thought, wait, if I have a card with a chip, tap it on the phone, that's it, that must be it. So that's when we started with the first version.
So does it matter whether it's an Android phone or an Apple phone?
No, it does not. So Apple has switched on NFC for all phones starting September 2018. So this is the iPhone XR, XS, the 11, the 12, and everything that comes after that. So for a long, long time, this has been in your phone already. For the phones before that, every Apple phone that can pay contactlessly, so that's all the previous phones before 2018, they don't need an app. You just need to click on the NFC tab button to switch it on. And then for Android has been playing around with NFC much longer. I ran into somebody with a phone out of 2016, and I was I didn't know if it was going to work, and tapped my phone tapped my card on the back of his phone, and it worked. So even though it's more hit or miss with Android, it does work. But there's also always a QR code on the back of the card. So no matter how old your phone is, you can always just pop up the camera and then scan the QR code.
Okay, so when, let's say we've just met, you've tapped your card on my phone and your information's popped up, where is that then kept on my phone? Where do I find it again?
Yeah, so we meet, I tap my card on your phone, my contact details show up, you hit save, and then it's in your contacts. That's it.
Okay, cool. And can it connect to CRM systems as well? Can it go straight into my CRM without me having to do anything much else?
Well, that's definitely feedback that we got after creating the first version. So one of my friends, real estate broker here in New York, he said, listen, cool that I can save my contact details in somebody else's phone. The best thing about it is when I call them that my name shows up and not some random number, which is hugely important if you want people to answer the phone or even call you back. The second thing that he said was, what I really want is I want to exchange contact details. Actually, I'd prefer to have somebody else's contact details so I can control the conversation. So quickly, we thought about a couple of ways to do that and ended up with our lead generation mode, which is patent pending. So we've been able to find a solution that's super unique. And what happens now, Liz, is that when I tap my card on your phone, I'll say, Liz, let me text you my contact details. Just fill out your name and phone number here. So a small form pops up, and usually with autofill, it's 2 or 3 taps, and it's filled out. And then you get a text message with my contact details, and then your contact details will be sent to my phone. And automatically, we can sync that with over 3,000 apps. So it could go to Salesforce, it could go to HubSpot, Pipedrive, Microsoft Dynamics, any of the 3,000 apps that are connected, or even to a Google Sheet if you prefer that.
Wow, that sounds like such a huge time saver.
Yes, it's not only a time saver, but it's you get home and with one click of a button you get every follow-up sent out, and it's just the feeling that you have all of the leads and contacts under control, that you're not missing out anymore on contacts made, that it's all in your system, that you can, whenever you send the next newsletter, that you know everybody will get it. It's just, remember that big drawer that you probably have somewhere, a huge stack of paper business cards that you've gathered in the past years.
Now, I know we can't see each other, but I feel like you can, because down by my feet in my recording booth, there is a box that is just full of business cards.
So can you imagine if all of those were in your computer, and if you, with the next podcast, you were able to send them updates, and or just a simple chat like, hey, it's been a couple of weeks since, or a couple of months since we last spoke. What's going on? How can I help? How can we catch up? And then imagine if you're having a company with 10, 20, 100, or 1,000 employees, there's 1,000 times all of those boxes lying around everywhere. And that's just such a waste.
Yeah, you're quite right. So I'd like to know how things changed for you last year. Obviously people were not using any kind of business cards really last year because everything just went online with COVID. How was your business affected by COVID?
Yeah, so at first, it was like the ground was sinking under my feet. At first, we were booked for a couple of conferences to really help networking on the floor. So not, between exhibitors and visitors, there's always been a good contact. But what you also like to see is how do I meet people there? Who can I meet, and how can I follow up with them? How do I, so to really foster the networking part between visitors, and all of those, one by one got canceled. So that was a huge impact right from the get-go. Then we kind of recalibrated, and my co-founder Joey and I sat down, and what we first thought is we're doomed. And then we figured out, okay, now is a good time to get people on the phone and get feedback. So everybody was at home, nobody knew what to do, everybody was kind of in this vacuum of what's going to happen. And a lot of people were available. They had time on their hands because they weren't doing anything. So we took that time to really get feedback about the product, to get feedback about what it would look like and what features were missing. So we really went into product development mode, and very quickly, we found that people were using our cards online a lot. So the QR code on the back of the card functions greatly over a video call. Just to hold up my card, ask you to pop up your camera, scan it, save it to your phone. So I went to one of these online networking events with again, real estate brokers, coincidentally. I think we're 15 or so on the phone, 11 o'clock in the morning, just everybody catching up. And I introduced myself, and I popped up my lead generation mode, and I scanned it, I held it up for the camera, and boom, on my other screen I saw 2 or 3 orders coming in. So we, without really prepping for it, we saw that our product had a great function for online networking.
Wow, yeah. So tell me a bit more about what it does, because it's not just business card information on there, is it? There's more to it than that.
Well, as everybody has a different idea about what they'd like to share, there are well over 25 social profile channels you can share on it. So if you're, we have DJs that skip the whole business card function and have their card go straight to their demo. We have actors where they really want to feature their reel. So that's just a quick video of some snapshots from stuff they did acting. And then there's companies that like to see a branded landing page, so kind of your personal landing page, completely on brand. And then the basic lead generation, the basic business card mode is also used still a lot, because sometimes people already and you just want to make sure that they have all your contact details, and using this function is great because it also tracks engagement. So whenever somebody clicks on a link inside of the contact that you save on your phone, that's also tracked, and you get live insights in that data.
So it's really, really versatile then.
I like to think, that it is, but obviously, one thing that doesn't change is that you still have to do the work in getting to know people. You still have to go out there. You still have to chat and feel free chatting to people and making new connections.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit more about the networking side of things then. So clearly, networking is something that you use in your business. How do you find that it works for you?
Well, there's a big difference culturally between the Netherlands, where I'm from, and I don't want to say Europe, but I think so also between the rest of Europe and America. Here, everybody is used to meeting 10, 15, sometimes even 20 people in an evening. And so when you have an hour and a half of networking, that's what happens. You run around the room, you just stick your hand out, and you walk into somebody, and then they'll say, "Hi, I'm Peter," and you do a quick intro, 20, 30 seconds of what you do and what company you work for, and then you start a conversation. And really that has been so incredibly empowering. It's also been great to force yourself to open up and to meet new people. And I think I really learned from that, because I wasn't prepared to do that when I came here first. In the Netherlands, you meet 2 or 3 people in an evening, and then you hope that that's something that can help you. But But really, you can get so much more out of a networking evening, whether it's in person, virtual, or on an event. There's just so much more to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you see the future of networking being now? I mean, we've all had over a year now where a lot of networking has taken place online because we've not been allowed to meet in person. What do you think things are going to be like moving forward, and how does Mobilo Card fit into that?
Yeah, the basics will stay the same. You will always have to take action. I think that's the most important part. So if you sit, lean back, nothing will happen. If you go out there and reach out to people, that's the way to do it. That's how to catch up. And so I regularly go through contacts either on LinkedIn or respond to people and not just respond to a post, or I will go in, send a direct message, say, hey, good to see your post today. Do you have time to catch up this week? So sitting, working from home and just spending a little less time commuting, I think gives everybody a lot more freedom and spare time to catch up. And really just it's such a great addition to really my life of catching up with people. The fact that we have time to do that right now, that if we normally would get drinks after work, well, right now I can speak to 2 or 3 people at the end of the day, catching up and say, hey, how's your day been? Is there anything I can do for you? So I think networking will happen a lot more. And also because of time. And the second thing is that we are seeing that online events are organized better and better and better. There's a lot more opportunity for online networking, reaching out to people while you're looking at a keynote, or you can find people in the chat room and say, hey, here's a link to my calendar. Would love to learn more about what you're doing. Grab 10 minutes on my agenda and let's have a chat.
And have you noticed any meetings yet? There are people flashing up Mobilo cards at you?
No. There are a lot of cards out there already. Our cards have been used over 500,000 times in 171 countries. But before we can be expecting to see them left and right, I think it'll be a while. We're just a young company. And we've helped over 5,000 companies. So every now and then I hear about it, but that's mostly because I know my customers and my friends and family. Yeah.
And who are your customers? Have you found there's a particular demographic that's using your cards, a particular sector, a particular industry?
Well, certainly tech-forward companies. So everybody that is interested in something that helps them get more data, helps them act on that data. That's one thing. The second thing is really companies that have sustainability in the forefront, because I mean, if you have 1,000 employees, there's just a huge amount of paper you're throwing away, and 60% of business cards are not ordered because somebody ran out, but because their phone number changed or their title changed, or maybe sometimes the last name or an email address changes. 60% of all business cards are ordered not because you ran out, but because some information changed. And with Mobilo, you just update the profile and you're good.
Yeah. I mean, something that I've noticed over the last year where I haven't been going out to networking meetings is that I have a big stack of business cards on my shelf that, of course, have not been used in the last year. But now I'm so kind of out of practice at putting them in my bag when I'm going out the door. I just keep leaving them behind when I'm going to events. So something like a Mobilo card where I just need one and it's just always in my purse, that sounds like a really good idea to me.
Absolutely. And if you don't like cards, we have a smart button that you can put. It's a small sticker you put on the back of your phone. Has the same functionality. You can tap on it, and that's that. Or my personal favorite is the key fob. I put it on my keychain, so I always have it with me, and it works great. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was on my car key, I definitely wouldn't be leaving it behind.
There you go.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for telling me about Mobilo Card, and best of luck with it. If people want to find out more, they want to find you, what's the best place to go to?
Well, mobilecard.com if you want to learn more about the product. You can reach out through the contact form or just send me an email. So my first name is Peter, but it's spelled in the Dutch way, so Pieter @mobilecard.com. If you have questions or you want to have a chat or if you want to sell me something, whatever it is, reach out to me, no problem, and I'll get back to you for sure.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.